TNN Motorsports proudly presents live exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 from the North Carolina Motor Speedway near Rockingham. Good afternoon, everybody. There is the threat of rain in the air and a championship hangs in the balance, so we're going to get right to it. Here's your diehard starting grid. David Green, the point leader, has his 9th pole of the year. He's lined up next to February's winner, Terry Labonte. And as you look on back through this starting lineup, in one lap, they'll go racing. I'm Mike Joy, and with me, Buddy Baker and Darrell Waltrip. David Green, buddy, top of the points. What does he have to do today?
Everything that he's done all year long. He's just run flawless all year, and I think he knows what he's got to do. He'll protect that lead in the points, and look out. He'll be a tough man to beat in the race itself.
Well, Darrell, Ricky Craven and Chad Little are still within striking distance.
Yeah, well, Craven's already had a problem. He had to change a motor there before the race starts, and I really believe that Green's car is so much better. Not so much better, I shouldn't put it that way. It is so well prepared that it puts the pressure on everybody else. He can drive a conservative race and still be in the top 10. And he can drive a very aggressive race and win this thing. So it'll be interesting to see which way he goes.
Green must finish 22nd or better to clinch the championship regardless of whatever else happens. We're watching from Derek Cope and now from Dick Trickle, who's in the number 64 Duraloop car this afternoon. Mark Martin also has an in-car camera in his Winn-Dixie Ford. Coming down to the drop of the green flag, 200 miles will decide the Busch Grand National Championship on this final day of the season. Teammate Terry Labonte takes a strong lead from David Green. Labonte just rockets off turn 2. He's got 6 car lengths lead midway down the backstretch.
Well, I believe what that tells me is that Terry practiced here this morning in his Winston Cup car, and he knew that outside groove was in pretty good shape, and he went for it.
From Mark Martin's Ford.
You know, Mike, you see him coming out of the corner here. They can run a higher line out of the corner, and this is going to make for great racing today and tomorrow because you have a wider groove than you ever had at Rockingham.
Trouble, turn 2. One car taking a lazy spin up into the wall is the Wendy's car of Stanton Barrett. Second-generation driver out of Bishop, California. His dad, former land speed record holder, and Barrett tests the concrete early. Cautions out at lap 2.
Well, Buddy was talking about the second groove. There is going to be a second groove there. Right now, it's still a little bit, there's a little bit of sand that collects on the racetrack when the cars haven't been running on it for a while, and we've been down for a while, so probably got up in that loose stuff.
Let's take a look here as they go down in the corner. You see Stanton on the outside there. He's up in the gray stuff. The car breaks loose. Nobody hit him or anything. He just got around sideways, backs it into the wall there.
Now watch in this next as he goes up for the wall. Chad Little, fighting for this title chase, takes evasive action. There's David Bonnet, the Voyager battery Chevy of Hank Parker, spinning there to miss Stanton Barrett. Here's another look.
Yeah, here he goes, and he just gets up there too high, you know, early in the race like this, and around she goes, and everybody's doing a great job of missing him, but unfortunately he's going to come back down the racetrack here. I think what happened to David Bonnet, a car in front of him slowed all of a sudden, that yellow car, and he had to get on the brakes and spun it out.
Darrell, you always hear aim for the car in trouble. That's not true. You can see it there. That gets you in trouble is what it does.
Yeah, you just got to play it by ear.
Stanton Barrett's crew makes repairs as we're under the first caution of the day. We'll be right back to Rockingham after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by AC-Delco. It's like buying time. And by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley's been helping people do things right.
Just taking the green flag for the restart here at Rockingham, and you see Harry Gant soldier on up into second place there. Here is Derek Cope running David Green hard for third.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, one thing about that early caution, I'm sure that was good for David because it gave him a chance to catch his breath. I know he had to been holding it for the start of the race.
Mike, you see Joe Bessie there in the 97 car. This is his best run since he come back with his car this year. His car is really hooked up. You see him going by David Green there. Right behind him, Johnny Benson following him down in turn 3.
Right now, David's just looking for a hole to get into. He wants to get back down on the inside, get back in line, and find him a place where he's comfortable. No cars behind him, no cars in front of him.
Johnny Benson leading in the rookie points in the Staff America Chevy over Dennis Setzer by just 3 points.
Excuse me, Mike. Mark got off to a terrible start. Normally that car just takes right off and is one of the fastest cars, but he's fallen back a number of spots here on the start. I don't know if he's having a problem or not.
You see David Green, he's making a move back now. He don't want to follow too many cars here. I think, like you said, Darrell, he's trying to find a place that he can run by himself pretty much, but he's got a tiger right behind him there. Mark Martin don't let anybody alone.
Yeah, there is no by yourself here today, I don't think.
He just wants that car to come up to the temperatures to come up and everything to come up good in it before he really starts running it hard, I think. He's a heady race driver. He's taking care of that car.
Elton Sawyer got a stop-and-go penalty for passing on the restart, and David Bonnet was held 1 lap for passing cars on the way to the pit under caution. The Earnhardt car, number 3, Mike Waltrip's in that one today.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, that car in the last 2 races has only run a combined total of 25 laps. Earnhardt run it 5 laps at Charlotte, and Michael run it 20 laps at Dover. So they got to work that out.
Harry Gant in his final home state weekend appearance, going to the front.
I talked to Harry Gant this morning. He said this is the best car that he's had here in many a moon, and that's trouble for anybody who's ever watched him run a Busch Grand National race here, because he's consistently good, and this car is really hooked up.
Gant of the Mannheim Auctions, number 7, the Ed Whitaker car. Harry retires at the end of this season. His final home state race, you'll see it live on TNN tomorrow.
One of the things that's hard to really judge is how good your car is. The surface is new, as everyone knows, and the tires are so sticky like we had at Charlotte that your car feels great on short runs. Nobody's really made any long runs, so it'll be very interesting to see how these cars sustain speed after a while.
So back to 4th place. There's Derek Cope lapping past Stanton Barrett. And there's a look out the back of Cope's car and Mark Martin.
Johnny Benson is hooked up.
Yes.
He's going by Cope right now, and I tell you what, he's had some great runs lately. Won a race, and he's right up in the front now. He's moving towards the front.
The rookie thing is interesting because it's not just the points that determine Rookie of the Year. There's a panel that votes and makes the ultimate decision. So Benson wants to leave everybody with the impression that he's the up-front guy and that he, rather than Dennis Setzer, should be Rookie of the Year.
Well, he's done a great job in that car, and you can see the confidence building. He's just gotten better and better and better as the season has gone on.
They'll be back next year with Lifton T. Terry Labonte leads this race. A lot of those MW windows are made just up the street from the racetrack here on US 1.
You can just see those 2 lead cars coming out of turn 2. They were almost looked like they were carrying the front end. They're getting so much forward bite out of the corner.
Look back to 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Benson in 3rd. There's Derek Cope in 4th, and Mark Martin in 5th in the Winn-Dixie number 60. Riding with Mark Martin.
So we've seen that 60 car so dominant here at Rockingham over the last couple of times we've been here. And the new surface has got Mark a little bit fooled, I believe. He's not quite as good as he normally would be here.
There, it looks like as the cars come across 4, it looks like there's still a little bit of a dip between 3 and 4, and we see a little tire rub. We saw it just there on Mark's car as he comes across turn 4, and the car tries to settle after that little dip that's left there.
Well, as you come out of turn 4, and the way you run off of that turn, the track does still have I don't know how, little swales in it, and the car wants to do a little nose hop, bounces about 3 times. Nothing real serious. It's a great job of resurfacing, but that was in the old track and is in the new one too.
Ricky Craven trying to move up. He is 10th right now.
See the new surface.
Goodness. Contact going in the
trickle. Yeah, trickles around. I was just going to say what the new surface has done is let all these guys run so close together and 3 or 4 wide, but maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Dick Trickle has crashed in another car. I believe that was that Stevie Reeves that went up and did hit the wall in turn number 1. You see the left side is pancaked from the contact car to car, and then the spin up into the fence.
I bet Larry Pearson's saying right now, I wish there's somebody would spin somewhere besides right in front of me. That's the second close call for him.
Yeah, it is.
He's missed 2. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, the thing is so interesting. I want you to look what a light tap this seems to be. I mean, there's just a little tire smoke, and Dick goes up the racetrack, but he's in that loose stuff again. That white smoky looking stuff is sand that's at the top of the racetrack, and when they get in that, they have no control.
There's Larry Pearson going by on the high side there. Bobby Dotto right behind him.
They were 3 wide going into the corner. He is 10th right. And you see what happens here.
Whoa, I take it back. They hit harder than I thought they did.
Yeah, Bessie moved up just a bit to avoid Steve Grissom on the bottom.
Yeah.
And he moved up and into Trickle.
That's one of the things you have to watch on this racetrack. Because of the D-shaped front straightaway, you can get 3 wide going down to turn 1, but you can't go through there 3 wide.
Dick Trickle pits for repairs, and we'll pit for this commercial break and be right back to Rockingham. Cleanup is complete, and 1 lap will go back to green. I'll show you one one more angle on the replay. This one inside Dick Trickle's car.
He's alongside of Bessie, and what we don't see is the 31 car is alongside. There he goes, the 31, and that forces Bessie right up into Dick. And you get up that high in that, again, in that sandy stuff, and the car's going to turn around with you.
Well, you saw the force of the hit against the wall. Let's see the damage. Glenn Jarrett is in his pit.
Well, Mike, the work right now is going on the left front. It broke the left front brake rotor, knocked the wheel assembly all apart there, so they're working real hard to try to get that done. The car hit extremely hard on the left side. They have removed the window net now. I really don't think they're going to be able to get this car back in the race. We'll keep you posted, but pretty severe damage right now. Randy?
As we get ready to go back to green, Joe Bessie took the opportunity under caution to come in 2 times. First time for sheet metal damage. They pulled it away. Also took a spring rubber out of the right front. Had a couple of loose lug nuts on the car. They had to come back down pit road. So Joe Bessie's out, and he's deep in the field.
On the restart, Harry Gant, who had beaten Terry Labonte back to the line. He is the new race leader. Labonte in second. Johnny Benson in third.
And the white car in third place. He got a lap down somehow. I'm not sure.
Elton Sawyer had to stop and go for jumping the last restart.
Okay, so he's a lap down in the mix.
From Mark Martin, you're looking at Derek Cope and that bright red car of Johnny Benson.
Darrell, that looks like a real draft on this racetrack anymore. They're running so fast through the corners. I think down the straightaway you'd have a draft at 157 miles an hour that would really be pretty strong.
Yeah, we tested here last week, and the straightaway speed at the end, going into turn 1 is 165 miles an hour on this 1 mile racetrack. Wow. We're 7 miles an hour faster through the turns than we were here a year ago.
That was Mike Waltrip just past Benson. That car, he told me this morning, Michael told me that car was really hooked up. He's kind of like Harry Gant. Harry Gant said this is the best race car he's had. So did Mike. He said, I'm going racing today.
Well, I know that'll make Dale happy. Dale Earnhardt, the car. No, Teresa actually.
That's right, Teresa owns that car.
It may not make Dale happy.
Well, Dale has his mind on Sunday. That's why he's not in the car today. Derek Cope completes the pass. Now Mark Martin moves underneath Elton Sawyer in the Ford Credit Ford.
Not sure what's wrong with Elton. He normally runs, really well latter part of this year. He just seems to be off the pace right now.
2 men leading the chase for the championship are nose to tail. David Green in 9th, Ricky Craven in 10th. Chad Little is back in 14th as they move under Elton Sawyer.
This racetrack's a lot like a piece of sandpaper right now. It's really got the grip down low where the cars are running, but when you get up high, it's just like running on sand, and the guy can't believe how loose his car gets when he moves up out of that groove.
Well, we have 3 deep going in the corner here. Somebody has to give. That's Phil Parsons in the 99 car there. Ricky Craven just behind him. I think David Green's just riding along right now because they were racing a second ago, and David Green's dropped back just a little bit.
Buddy, he is continuing to look for that hole.
Oh, trouble in turn 3.
That's Elton Sawyer up against the fence between 3 and 4. Apparently one of those cars working its way underneath Sawyer got him in trouble. And they're going to need a new payment book for the Akins and Sutton car.
Yeah. Mike, he had moved to the outside of the racetrack trying to give the lap cars, the room on the bottom of the racetrack to go on. And I think he got up a little too high and got in trouble.
Yeah, I think you're right, buddy.
Tough weekend for the Sawyer family. Elton's wife, Patty Moeast, missed qualifying for this race by 1 spot. May have a full scheduled Busch Grand National ride for next year. She's hopeful of that.
Well, that would be, you got to run all the races. You can't just come every now and then and expect to be competitive. You got to run them all. So that'd be good for her if she could get a full-time deal.
We got him going. This is when he got into the wall. You can see the black mark starting way back, getting in the corner there. He was just a little bit out of the groove, a little bit of dust up there, and the car got loose.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he got help or not, but it doesn't take a lot when you're on the outside like that.
We're under the 3rd caution of the day. Terry Labonte and Harry Gant up front. We'll be right back. And there's the piece of the rock that's emblematic of the nickname they call the Rockingham, North Carolina Motor Speedway. Just outside the ticket office there. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Rockingham. Darrell, is David Green, if you were David Green's coach right now, fellow Owensboro boy,
yeah,
what would you be telling him?
He's doing exactly what I'd tell him to do. He's right. He's looking for that. I keep talking about the hole. He's looking for a place between the cars that are ahead of him and the cars that are behind him that gives him some escape routes. He doesn't want anybody around his back bumper in case something happens. He's got to whoa up. He don't want to get hit from behind. By the same token, he wants to be far enough behind that lead pack so if something happens in front of him, he's got some places to go. So he's looking for that championship hole.
Buddy, if you were Ricky Craven's coach, what would be your advice right now?
Win the race. I mean, that's all. His biggest shot right now is to go out and try to win the race and get as many points as he can. David Green is, I mean, he just got his game plan so down that he's going to have to do something pretty spectacular, like win the race.
I think so. Glenn Jarrett?
Well, Mike, we're in David Green's pits, and the coach, Bobby Labonte, the car owner, is right now in conference with Charlie Smith, the crew chief. We want to ask Bobby when we get a chance here about what Darrell's talking about looking for that hole. So far, he hasn't been able to find that hole because every time he gets it, the caution flag comes out. He and Charlie are still talking right now. I don't know if they're talking to something about the car. Can't hear what they're saying. Let me let this conversation get through, and then we'll come back and talk with Bobby.
All right, thanks, Glenn. We're going green this time, and there is David Green. In 9th place, Ricky Craven is 11th. Chad Little is 14th, among the 3 drivers who could win the championship today. Green flag, and Harry Gant takes off ahead of Terry Labonte, Derek Cope, Mark Martin, and Mike Waltrip.
You know, Mike, I've talked to Harry on a number of occasions. He so desperately wants to win a race or two here before this season ends to make his farewell tour a memorable one. And he's got a good start at it today.
Labonte right with him, the winningest driver on this circuit. Cope's had a win, Mark Martin. And it's a bit of a 5-car breakaway before Johnny Benson in 6th place.
Boy, that's 2 good ones right there. You talk about people that have a lot of experience. That first 2 positions right there, I don't know of anybody I'd rather race with than these two guys right here because they know what's going on. They know how to win.
Yeah, and the thing is that the Cup cars had an hour of practice this morning. So they've been out on the racetrack this morning where these guys and the rest of the Busch guys haven't been. Cup drivers got a little practice this morning. That could be a plus for them.
Well, as you see, Mark Martin is taking this car to the front. You never know about Mark. He's got a lot of race savvy about himself, and it takes a few laps for him to get up front. He don't mind waiting. Right behind him comes Michael Waltrip.
The way Mark sets his car up, he's going to set it up pretty tight, where it's got a little push in it, and that's going to have to work itself out before he can go fast. So don't ever count that 60 car out. When you want to know where the beef is, you probably look out front. That's where it is.
I'd say that's pretty correct.
Rich Bickle back in the race after a stop on the back pit. As you watch from Mark Martin, and it looks like the leaders, they were getting away just a bit. We'll see if that changes with Martin now up to 3rd place. Ford Electronics brings you on board telemetry in Mark's car, coming up from about just under 7,000 midway through the corner, and just kind of ticking off 8,100.
Yeah, I've seen 154 miles an hour down the straightaway.
Boy, that is a great shot right there. There's your combatants for the championship, and I'm sure David would just soon get them in his sights and keep them there.
He doesn't want to race them today.
No, he doesn't. He wants them to go on and do what they're doing. He's got to run his own race.
Let's check with Glenn.
Well, guys, I followed up with Bobby Labonte to see what the conversation was about. Pretty interesting. The car has a rev limiter on it to keep from over-revving the engine. I heard it when it went by a while ago. It makes, to the driver, it sounds almost like the car is missing. David radioed in that he would like for him to take it off. It's very annoying. It's worrying him. He thinks that the car is missing when it's not. So first chance they get, under caution, they're going to take the rev limiter off. However, like I said earlier, they don't really want to see a caution. They want things to get strung out. So David's got a lot of room in front and behind him.
Yeah, he's 2 cars behind him right now that are going to, he's probably going to let get in front of him or else maybe right in it. He's just looking for that opening. But the thing is, everything's annoying to that driver right now. That rev limiter, those cars that are around him, everything's pretty much annoying when you're trying to win a championship.
When you come this far. Now, Chad Little has one of the fastest cars in the racetrack. He started 26th, and he has climbed to 11th place.
That car is fast. He drove a great race at Martinsville last week, finished up in the top 5, and he's running good again today. That has been a fast race car over the last half of the year.
And David Green just keeps him in his sights, as he needs to do.
We have a car smoking down the front straightaway here, 10 feet away. As he goes into turn 1, has a big plume of smoke following it through there.
High point bedding on the side of that car that comes out the left exhaust pipe. 10th in the point standings is Speedway, and Tracy Leslie could overtake him. and knock him out of the top 10 today.
There is no caution. It's just smoke. It's not putting any fluid on the racetrack, it don't look like. So they'll let him go on the green.
And he'll have to pit. Napa Field standing update brought to you by Napa. We keep America running. Here's how they're running. At lap 42.
Boy, Uncle Mike is he's right there.
Uncle Mike. Here we go.
He's in 4th place, and he's closed down a bunch of distance here on Harry and Terry, and of course Mark Martin has too.
He had a huge, I wouldn't call it a shiner. It looked like he kind of walked into a baseball bat or something.
I didn't do it. I promise. I didn't have anything to do with it.
We have Mark Martin moving into 2nd here. There's a lap car there. He may have to back out and let him go. That's the teddy bear car.
Kevin LePage there.
Well, give him a little shot there. You seen the quarter-pound kind of wrinkle just for a second?
Oh, that was distortion in the camera then. Mark was right.
No, Mikey had a bee sting, I guess.
That's what
I'm told.
That's what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of favored Sylvester Stallone in Rocky IV, if you know what I mean. He had one of them flat eyes.
Yellow is out for Stanton Barrett, who has spun for the 2nd time today. Caution at lap 44 is the 4th of the day.
Well, you say, Darrell, sometimes it just don't pay to get out of bed. He's had a bad day so far.
His day, it started off bad and it hadn't gotten any better.
I think he's down on the apron in turn 2, I believe. Can't see him.
I think it's turn 4.
Turn 4. Yep, here he comes. 4th caution of the day for a seemingly harmless spin by Stanton Barrett. We'll be right back. Folks, it's Steel Chainsaws bringing you these aerial views of the Rock. Steel makes a full line of outdoor power equipment.
Yeah, and Stanton Barrett just did a Roberto Duran, no mas.
To the garage.
Yep, out of here.
There's where everybody is. Tommy Houston, you'll see there in 42nd, hit the wall yesterday. Had to take a provisional spot because he didn't make it in qualifying. Hit the wall. They got out the backup car in practice, but they were told to use that provisional. They had to run the car. They qualified, so they straightened it up best they could, but it would only run a few laps, and he put it in the garage. Let's go down to the garage.
Well, Tim Fedewa brought out that last caution in his Ford. It's now behind the wall and out of the race. Tim, what happened?
Well, I think we lost a rod there or something, you know, something in the engine compartment, definitely. And, you know, I'm real disappointed, but, you know, that's racing. We've had good luck with our engine program all year, and it's really the first one to be lost like that. I'd like to thank Bell Atlantic Mobile for helping us all year long, and High Point Betting, and a lot of other people, Ford and Goodyear for sticking with us. And a pretty good season. We had our ups and downs, but we'll be back in Daytona.
Okay. Tough break.
Thank you.
Tim Fedewa will run the Winston Cup race at Atlanta to close out his
I
season.
think he'll do a good job, too. He's a tremendous race car driver. With the amount of experience he has, he does a good job.
1 to go, and we'll go back to green. Harry Gant, Terry Labonte, Mark Martin, Mike Waltrip, Derek Cope, Kenny Wallace. Last week's winner is 6th as you look at Mark Martin. And tomorrow, you'll see Mark and all the rest of the Winston Cup drivers at 12:30 p.m. The AC-Delco 500 takes the green flag here at Rockingham. Running how much faster than ever before, Darrell?
Well, I'm telling you, we're about a second faster around the racetrack. We're running around here almost as fast as we go around Richmond. We're 23:30 was the pole, and we go around Richmond at 22 seconds. So this is a mile and change racetrack. We're 7 miles an hour faster through the corner, and I don't know how much faster down the straightaway, but we're 165 into turn 1.
See, I think you're right in a way. It's a changed racetrack.
Oh, it's not the same.
Here's Glenn.
Well, guys, Bobby Dodder took advantage of that caution to come in. He was complaining that his car was extremely loose. He came in, changed all 4 tires, and they tried to top the tank off with fuel. It wouldn't take any gasoline. They were going to bring him back in to try to put fuel in it before the green flag came out again, but they decided not to. So they may have a filler neck problem on that car. They're talking with Bobby about it right now, but I don't know what he's going to be able to do about it. We're ready for a restart.
Yes, we are. At lap 49. We're back under green. Harry Gant leads them down to turn 1.
Boy, Mike Waltrip got a terrible restart there. You see Derek Cope getting under him there. But every once in a while you get caught like that, and it really makes you mad. Because it's so hard to make your position, and then to mess up on a start like that makes you mad.
Hey, watch Phil Parsons. Phil Parsons has come from 22nd up into the top 10.
Yeah, that car
their car.
Watch him in practice. That car is fast, and I believe he's on Hoosier tires.
Finished second here in 1989. Finished third here in 1982.
One guy who we hadn't mentioned today, and he's moved himself right up in there, the 8 car of Mr. Wallace. You know, he just kind of dominated the race last weekend in Martinsville, and here he is running in the top 5 now.
Kenny Wallace and Phil Martossi, number 8. Looking for his second in a row.
I stand corrected. That 99 car is on Goodyear's. People might recognize that number 99. That's the car that Robert Presley drove the better part of this year, and then Phil got in it after Robert moved on.
Currently 7th, the highest he's been today. Was 20th on lap 1, but started back in 22nd.
Well, I tell you what, this racetrack hadn't changed a whole lot. You get off that bottom white line and you pay the price. You're going to lose a bunch of spots or else go for a ride.
Darrell, I've been wanting to ask you, when I started doing the broadcasting up here, I see so many things that you can do on a racetrack to really improve yourself. Do you feel like you see things up here like this that'll help you tomorrow?
Maybe so. I think the thing that I notice when I'm sitting up here is things that you wish you could tell that driver that's racing the guy in front of him. You know, try to pass him in turn 4, try to pass him down low in turn 2 maybe. You can see things here that would help a guy make a move sometimes that he don't make and he doesn't know to make. And that's where the bunch of guys down here on the grandstand are helpful. Spotter's a driver's best friend right now.
David Pearson said much the same thing last Sunday, and David will be with us tomorrow for the Winston Cup race.
Here comes Phil Parsons by Kenny Wallace getting into turn 1. He makes it look pretty easy, too, and that's a good race car. When you pass Kenny Wallace like that, you got things going your way.
I remember Robert earlier this year in that 99 car. He dominated this race, if I remember correctly. I don't think he won the race, but he did have a great run here in the spring.
Oh. Kenny's moved up a little bit on the racetrack. That normally means the car's not handling like you want it to.
There's Phil, Kenny right behind him. And even Parsons about half a groove up from the bottom. Now here's Kenny Wallace. He's got to deal with Jim Bound and Johnny Benson.
Now, when he goes in the corner, watch him move up the racetrack here. You see everybody else right on the white line. He's not real happy with the handling right at the moment.
And again, he'll pay the price here in a minute because those guys are all going to get under him if he's not, if he doesn't get back down on that white line.
This battle's for 8th place. Jim Bound of the Lysol 63, and then Johnny Benson, and then Chad Little.
We don't really know. The racetrack could be going through a change. The surface could be losing a little grip down low and just causing guys to move up a little bit, too.
And the sun's starting to come out just a little.
A little sunshine. All these things are going to make a big difference in how this track feels.
The 23 car there, that's Chad Little, and just behind him is Ricky Craven. They're fighting it out. They're very close in the point standing between 2nd and 3rd. So I imagine one thing that Ricky Craven does not want to do is see that car running that well just in front of him. He wants to get back in front of him because 2 positions, he loses 2nd place in points.
Squeeze play here as they work around Kevin LeFave. Jim Bound gives him a bit of room, and up comes Mike Wallace in the Barry Owen car, the FTP Brakes number 9. Moves under Jim Bound. And David Green right behind in a Slim Jim 44.
The 35 car there, that's Jimmy Hensley. We have a fight right now for the lead. We have Terry Labonte getting under Harry Gant going into turn 1.
I think you can credit Mark Martin for Terry making that pass. Mark caught those two and was getting ready to pass them both. I think Terry decided he'd step on the gas, see if he couldn't shake Mark.
Well, at the start of this race, within half a lap, Terry Labonte suddenly had about a 6 or 7 car length lead.
Yeah, he said the car is really good and it's got a brand new engine, and he was bragging to me about, he kept telling them guys he could qualify on the pole if he had as good an engine as David had. And Terry told David, said, wouldn't it be neat if I won a pole, then we'd both have a pole this year and a win. And David said, I think it'd be neater if I had 9 poles.
Now, Ricky Craven in the number 2, the DuPont car, moves underneath Kenny Wallace, who's dropping back a bit. Here comes Kenny's brother, Mike Wallace, in the number 9. I didn't realize we got 3 Bodines, 3 Wallaces, 2 Wallaces. We got 3 Green brothers, not just Jeff and David, but Mark Green runs short track at Nashville as well, the middle brother.
He does, and they're all very talented, very good, and a good bunch of kids.
Mike Wallace told me this week to please tell everybody. A lot of people thought he was blocking last week for his brother. He said, I don't block for my brother. No. If anything, I try to beat my brother. And he was not blocking last week. It was just a battle for second place. And you're not going to pull over and let somebody take second place away from you. You're going to race them as hard as you can.
Well, I think I can speak with authority. I seen the Bodine brothers at Indianapolis. They wasn't helping each other. And I saw the Walter brothers at Charlotte. They sure wasn't helping each other.
Well, we may or may not dissect that when we come back. Good time to take a break from Rockingham.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
Now, I know you're saying the same thing we are. Why does the best racing happen when we're in commercial? Look at what's changed. Virtually everything. Mark Martin has gone to the front as he works lap traffic underneath Nathan Butke here, and right behind him Mike Waltrip. Terry Labonte shuffled back to third. Derek Cope up to fourth. Harry Gant in fifth.
Mike, anybody that ever says that Mark Martin's too conservative, they should have seen some of this passing. As you guys will say, we have trouble on the back straightaway.
Gant came down, and Phil Parsons was there. The two made heavy contact, but did not crash.
Gosh.
Here comes Mike Waltrip against Labonte, and here is on tape during the commercial. Mark Martin wanted the lead as well.
Boy, I tell you, that's good stuff right there. And Harry jumps under Terry and tries to get up under Mark and almost pulled it off. I think if he had been later in the race, he would have pulled it off, but he let him go.
And that's how Terry Labonte got back to fifth.
You see Harry Gant's car turn sideways getting in the corner there. He's been complaining about being real loose for the last little bit there. He needs some bite in the car.
Now, those two cars got together in the backstretch.
Boy, I know Phil Parsons and Harry, I mean, I thought they were out of here. And they both saved their cars, did a great job.
Yeah, you got to quit slapping up here, though, when things happen. He popped me right now.
Sorry about that. That excited me.
Was that Darrell hit you or Pearson?
Well, David Pearson's up here in the booth with us, and I tell you what, I do not trust this man behind me.
On the racetrack or in the booth?
But he never gets excited. That's one thing about Pearson.
Well, he'll be next to you tomorrow, buddy.
Yes, I know.
You believe after last Sunday those two asked me to sit in the middle between them? I don't want to stop any fists with my face. If they get to it, I'm going to be over here near the door.
No, they'll start thinking about something that happened in 1972 or something. 75.
There we go. You ought to remember it. You was there, too.
Yeah, I snuck under the fence to see it, right?
Yeah, I watched it all.
Well, Mike Waltrip has the lead. Mark Martin's in second. Terry Labonte's in third. This battle is for 8th place. Make that 7th place. Johnny Benson just ahead of Chad Little, Ricky Craven, and Mike Wallace.
Well, they're keeping an eye on each other. These guys are fighting it out for second place in the National Division here for championship. And I mean, they're virtually nose to tail all day long racing each other.
Here's Parsons back underneath Harry Gant. This time makes the pass.
I think Harry said, okay, Phil, you go ahead this time. I don't like that close contact. Harry's struggling a little bit right now. I don't know what his problem is. Harry, he'll do that in a race. No, he'll be real good for a little while and then have trouble or get loose.
We heard on the scanner a while ago. He's complaining
again. Look at this. In the backstretch, Doug Hevron and Randy LaJoy. Hevron in the Food Country 75 and LaJoy in the Moroso 20. The Phenolute car, 2X modified guys got together. Rather, Ed Barrier right just ahead of him. That was almost a 3-car jam session.
Well, they're carrying so much speed off of the corner that if somebody has to lift the throttle just a little bit, the guy coming off behind him he's got so much more speed he goes flying by him, and there's not that much room here.
Now Johnny Benson will get the measure of Harry Gant. His car is drifting back in the field a bit.
Yeah, I think Harry's very unhappy with that car right now.
There's where your point leaders are running. You see Ricky Craven and Chad Little on the screen. David Green has settled into a comfortable spot, 13th. If Craven wins, he must finish 22nd or better to sew up this championship.
Man, I tell you what, you know how hard his heart must be beating right now with the chance of being a national champion. That's a lot of pressure on a man with the experience that David Green has at this moment. This has got to be the most important day of his life.
It's a big deal for a kid from Owensboro, Kentucky, that moved south to pursue a driving career. This is a very big deal.
These cars are 6.5 seconds behind the race leader. Lapping past David Bonnet.
Boy, I tell you, the traffic really makes a big difference. Mark ran up on the back of the 79 car, and I'm telling you, Michael was all over him.
Those two cars seem to be about the same speed. It's just the way, like you said, it's the way they get through traffic right now. You see Larry Pearson moving up high, just give him the room to go racing.
Yeah, that Stanley Tools car is in trouble. He's gone 2 laps down under green. Michael Waltrip has led this race for a lap. Running the top 10 all day.
Darrell, look at that face. Does he look like he's up to something all the time? Huh?
Mischievous. Mischievous Mike. Terry Labonte off the pace at turn 4. He is on pit road. As you watch Ricky Craven and Harry Gant, there's a look at Labonte unexpectedly coming down the pit lane.
Well, it's certainly too early for fuel. We're 80 laps, but it could be tires.
Randy?
No, he originally thought it was a left front tire. We have a caution on the racetrack. Terry Labonte has blown up, guys. His motor was off.
And so did somebody else going into turn number 1. Is that Mike McLaughlin? Yes, the fiddle paddle car. He's had a good rookie season. I think he's coming out of the modifieds at former national champion, replacing Todd Bodine and the C.C. Welliver and Friends team 34. There's Clyde McLeod motioning him behind the wall. I think he's given a good account of himself this season.
That is really a good team. I have a lot of respect for Clyde McLeod, and I'm just really impressed with the way Mike is improved in his driving. He's so much more track. He has so much more track presence now than he had earlier this year.
With the amount of smoke that come out of that car, he's real lucky he didn't get, you know, some oil on the tires and back that car in the wall. He did a good job of holding that car out of trouble.
Caution at lap 81.
We could expect to see a lot of that today. I mean, these guys are at the end of the year. This is the last race, and they're going to run these V6s next year. So, again, we could see some engine failures.
Everybody's on pit road. There's Mark Martin. Harry Gant pulling in.
Which brings up another question I've been wanting to ask somebody all week. You run the same gear that you ran here earlier this year?
Yeah, you do. Isn't that incredible? We're running that much faster with the same gear, but we're turning 8,800 RPM.
Pit stops finishing up among the 3 leaders, top to bottom. Mark Martin, Mike Waltrip, Derek Cope. Ron Zook purchased that team, and Derek Cope drives for. There's the bottom of the screen. Red Farmer, the crew chief, and he's also now officially involved as a partner in the Bobby Allison team. Cup racing.
The thing about the gear, buddy, used to we slowed down so much here. You know, after just 10, 15, 20 laps, the tires gave up so much that we'd slow way down, and so gear wasn't a big factor. Now we sustain that speed for a long period of time.
Pit stops complete. We'll sort out the running order for you when we come back to Rockingham after this. For the first time in his Busch Grand National career, Stevie Reeves is at the front. The former USAC midget champ did not pit the Clabber Girl baking powder car, and he has the lead ahead of Mark Martin.
I believe he was involved in a spin early there with Stanton Barrett, and he stopped then, and so he didn't have to make a stop with everybody else.
So Reeves is up front. There you can see the results of that collision.
Not for long. That car is all over the racetrack. He was bouncing 2 lanes then with the back end sway and back and forth. I'm sure Mark will get right on by him.
Mark Martin, the fastest of the leaders coming off pit road, takes the lead.
I've seen Stevie drive a midget, and it was swaying all over the place like that, too. Yep. He held on to her pretty good.
So Reeves is second now. Chad Little, who had a great pit stop, is up to 3rd, and Mike Waltrip is 4th. Here are your point leaders, racing David Bonnet and Dave Resendiz. Craven in number 2, Green in 44.
I wonder if Green got his rev limiter unhooked. Because he's looks like he's running pretty hard right now.
Probably hard to get out of that pack.
The 03 car there, that's David Bonnet. Good to see him in the race here this weekend.
Yep. Hank Parker's car. Glenn?
Well, Darrell, you wondered if he got the rev limiter taken off. Yes, they pulled that chip out of the ignition box. The car seems to be running okay. When Terry Labonte's car blew up, it looks like 7 o'clock Saturday morning yard sale. Their pit's only 2 down from David Green's. All at once, all these tires, all this equipment, all these crew guys came down here with everything that they could muster up to try to help David Green. At last count, there are 24 people in David Green's pit right now. I hope they don't try to all go over the wall at one time. There's about 8 sets of tires, all the stuff to completely build a whole new car. So, man, they're out in full force. They're going to see that he gets that championship.
Well, Chad Little's trying to deny it right now as he moves up to 2nd. Ahead of Mike Waltrip and Stevie Reeves. I'll remind you that both David Green and Terry Labonte's car are owned by Bobby Labonte. All run out of the same shop, as is Bobby's occasional Busch Grand National race car.
And Terry's already fallen out with engine failure. I know that's got to put a little bit of worry in the minds of all the guys on the 44 car because they got the same engine.
Oh, trouble, turn one. They went into the corner 3 wide. Johnny Benson on the bottom. In the middle was Bobby Dotter, and Hermie Sadler gets the wall. David Bonnet spins in turn 2. Caution at lap 92 is the 6th of the day. It was another one of those, everybody, let's get into turn 1 3 wide.
David Bonnet has slow spun that car out about twice now. Very similar situations. Car spin in front of him, and he locks her down and spins her around, but he hadn't hit anything yet, I don't think.
Nope. Darrell, there's a lot of damage to that car on the right side there. You notice the pancaked effect on the right front fender there.
Yeah. That's the last ride for Sadler in this car for Don Beverly. See, down on the bottom, that'll be Benson.
Benson, yeah, and Hermie on the outside, and of course you can see it just narrows up right there, and boy, that could have been a whole lot worse. Boy, bunch of good cars right in that pack. Here's the 2 car back here of Craven's, and there goes the 8 car, and a lot of good cars in that pack.
Craven and David Green were right there.
Yep.
Mike Wallace did a great job there. He was completely sideways and made a great correction on that car. That could have been a lot worse, as Darrell said.
And that Craven didn't get into the back of Mike Wallace.
Right.
So we're under caution, and we'll be right back to the North Carolina Motor Speedway after this.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR.
Well, after another look, you can see the right front of Ricky Craven's car. It appeared he did get into the back of Mike Wallace as they checked up for the wreck in turn 1. Glenn is in Craven's pit.
And John Munson, the crew chief, is with me. John, how bad is that damage to the car?
Well, the right side headlight door is pushed in, and there's a pretty big hole there. We were a little loose getting in the corner, and it'll definitely help us. It'll help us there. I'm sorry. It'll help us there getting in the corner with it being loose, but it won't help us down the straightaway. With the engine that we had to put in this morning, it's not as powerful as the one we took out, and it's going to definitely hurt us down the straightaway with that hole.
Well, you hear it, guys. The engine is a little bit underpowered. They did not want to have to change engines this morning, but just one of those things, had to do it.
Bobby Dotter's made repairs. Hermie Sadler's still on pit road. If he is done for the day, Sadler is locked in 5th position in the points. He would give Kenny Wallace 4th. Here are your 3-point leaders as we get ready to go back to Green. David Green in 13th, Ricky Craven just ahead of him, and Chad Little all the way up to 2nd place. Green flag at lap 96.
That was kind of a good news, bad news report. Good news is it's going to help us get in the corner. Bad news is that this ain't going to run as good.
They stream past Larry Pearson on the outside, who was 2 laps down. And that'll kind of single file the race leaders for a bit here.
Mike, you see Chad Little going in the corner there. He's already up to 2nd place, and there was only 7 points difference between he and Ricky Craven, so he's working as hard as he can and moving at least 2nd. He's doing all he can to try to win this thing, but I tell you, this guy has really run well since he got hurt in Charlotte.
David Green, meanwhile, being very conservative, lets a couple other cars go by as he gets midfield. There's Tracy Leslie, who's moved up on the back bumper of Ricky Craven in the Detroit gasket car.
I'm sure David feels like right now, no matter where he is in the line, that if he has to, he can pick it up and pass cars to get to whatever position he needs to be in.
Trouble turn 1. A car spins into the wall.
Jim Bound.
And David Bonnet just misses him.
I don't know. Yep. He's learned it. He's gotten better, though. He didn't spin around that time.
Tough break for Jim Bound, who leads this ride at the end of the year. Yellow flag on lap 99. And you can see Jim kind of shortened the car up as we take halfway.
Looks like he got both ends, Mike, pretty good. The left front's kind of dinged in, and then the whole back end of the car is caved in.
Watch the right side of your screen.
Boy, I think it's another one of those 3 wide episodes going into turn 3, or turn 1, actually. And here comes old David Bonnet. He said, now I've spun this thing around twice here. I'm going to learn how to do this.
And he did.
He needs that experience. I'm sure that's what Jake's telling him right now.
Okay. 100 laps go up on the board. We're just past halfway to deciding this championship. Welcome back to Rockingham. Our mid-race report is brought to you by Stanley Works of New Britain, Connecticut for over 150 years, making tools, hardware to help improve the value of your home. 7 different leaders in the first half of this race. 5 lead changes. Average speed just 108 miles an hour thanks to the 7 caution flags that have flown. This latest one here at lap 99. 25 of the 100 laps under caution. 9 cars out of the race already. That may work in David Green's favor. 33 cars are running.
We got one to go, or they're coming around to get to Green. And we've averaged 108 here before with no caution.
Yes.
That's how much faster the racetrack is.
That's what Ned Jarrett used to tell me. He said he had Metrocal after about 3 hours of the race on Sunday.
Glenn?
Well, work continues on Hermie Sadler's car. Fortunately, most of it's sheet metal. Unfortunately, there's a lot of it. The toe end seems to be knocked out a little bit. Bobby King just told him on the radio to take it easy when he goes back out, but they will get him back out. We're under green.
Mark Martin and Chad Little, 2 fast Fords at the front of this field. Mike Waltrip in Earnhardt Chevrolet in 3rd. Derek Cope in 4th. Harry Gant is 5th. Phil Parsons is 6th. Joe Bessie up to 7th. Well, here at Rockingham. And Kenny Wallace is 8th. His brother Mike is 9th. And Johnny Benson, he is 10th. Ricky Craven's 11th. Then Tracy Leslie. And then point leader David Green.
See Harry Gant in the shot there. They did a little work on the chassis on that car, and he seems to be back up to speed again. He had moved way out of the top 10. We got trouble on the back.
There goes Tracy Leslie spinning right in front of Doug Hebron. One car got crunched up against the outside wall.
Well, I tell you, someone, it's got to be Lucky's day, because that was the 44 car. He was right up in the middle of that whole shebang.
He was. That's Nathan Butke who's involved there. One car seemed to stack up the pole field there, right about in the middle of the racetrack, coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, it was I believe it was a lap car. It was up on the outside, and those guys just run out of room.
Stevie Reeves and Tracy Leslie appeared to get together. They hooked bumpers. And you can see Nathan Butke involved. Dirk Stevens in the Grease Lightning Ford spun to miss it. Now there's Reeves on the right side of your screen.
There's a car on the inside of that racetrack that's coming back up right there.
That's
that
Leslie.
really started all the problems.
That's Leslie. Now on this next angle, watch for the 44 car to sneak through.
Here they come off turn 2 here, and Tracy gets knocked down the inside. And
Stevie Reeves got in the back of Leslie and turned him.
Boy, Doug Hebron there made a nice move to get through.
Dirk Stevens is spinning there in the 15 car. He comes back up and kind of blocks things right along there.
You want to see a piece of driving. Watch on this next replay. Watch the red, white, and blue number 75 of Doug Hebron. He missed this wreck 3 different times.
He really did.
Now he's on the right side of your screen next to the yellow car. See, he checks up on the brake right there just as it starts to happen. Now, where am I going to go? Well, I'm here in the middle of the racetrack. Locks up the brake again. Cuts down to the inside. Here's another spinning car. Checks up again, gets down to the inside, and then Dirk Stevens spins in front of him again. I'd like to know what his pulse rate is right now.
I'll tell you one thing, there was a lot of luck involved there too, because when you slow up that much and cars are passing you on both sides, you're real lucky if you don't get hit straight in the back.
Roy Payne, who was involved as well, and we're under caution for the 8th time. We'll be right back. Today at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, TNN presents Professional Bull Riders Finals live from Las Vegas here on the Nashville Network, 5 o'clock Eastern.
That, to me, well, I better not say that. Those guys are pretty tough, but I tell you, I always thought race car drivers had a couple of hinges loose, and that throws me in that category. But I tell you, a man that gets on a bull, he's got to be made out of some stuff I hadn't found yet.
8 seconds.
Yeah, right.
Here's 8 seconds in the life of David Green. Watch the number 44 car on this replay.
Yeah,
there he is, bottom of the screen.
Yeah, he's right behind that blue car, Stevie Reeves, and Stevie's the one that actually hit the bump to 72, shot over in front of David. Now you got the 43 car alongside. You got another car here that's about to hit him in the back end, but he wisely gasses it up, and here comes Tracy Leslie. And he squeezes through.
Glenn?
Well, Mike, I'm standing by with Bobby Labonte. Bobby, I know that you're worried about those cars that David's having a race against right now. What are you telling him?
I think he needs to get in front of him, is what I told him. But it's harder to do than what, it's easier said than done. So we're just going to take it one step at a time, you know. We still got a long ways to go, and he's real good at missing stuff, so fortunately that's helping out right now.
Well, normally in a situation like this where you're chasing the championship, you detune the engine a little bit so that it'll last. Have you done that?
Oh yeah, it's pretty detuned. You know, he's having trouble down the straightaway. So, but we knew that we gotta make it live. That was the name of the game today. So, you know, I think we're going to be okay. We just taking it cautiously right now.
Well, one problem leads to another, but he's been lucky so far. Hope it continues for him.
He sounds a little excitable. Some folks would call that nervous.
Yeah, I'm sure as the car owner he is, but the thing about it is, he is a little further back. David is a little further back than I'd like to see him be. He's going to have to dodge a lot of wrecks if he doesn't pick up the pace just a little bit, get ahead of some of that traffic in front of him.
One to go. 109 laps complete. This race is 198?
197.
Excuse me.
For David, it's probably 198, 199.
Now here's Bobby Dotter, carries the DeWalt colors this year. That sponsorship moves to Hermie Sadler next season. Here is Bobby Dotter's toolbox along pit road.
That's my area code. He's right down the road from Lake Norman.
He's in 19th spot right now on the lead lap. Not a bad racer. I saw he got out of that car at Legacy, drove that car at Watkins Glen and brought it home in second place. And I thought he was going to win the race. If Terry hadn't been there, he would have.
Dotter's had a solid season. He's 6th in the points.
Yes.
Pays to advertise.
Anywhere you can.
You too can have the smiling face on your billboard.
Yeah, right.
The green's out.
Lap 110, we're back to green. And Mark Martin gets a good jump on Chad Little.
Yeah, you very seldom see Mark Martin not get a good start. He's pretty aware. He's run so many short tracks around the country that he is really sharp on restart.
Would you call that a Texas restart?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? AJ Point? Texas restarts.
It must be.
I remember when I was first starting, I said, I want any of those Texas restarts.
See Harry Gant there in the green car. He is really running well. And right behind him, Phil Parsons is running as well as he was in Charlotte when he won the race there earlier this year.
See, the thing about Harry, he got off there for a little while, but he just bided his time, got him a caution or two, got his car fixed, and that's the old wiry veteran working his way back to the front. Didn't panic, didn't get excited, didn't run into anybody, just waited and worked on his car.
Like you intend to do tomorrow.
It's exactly, I like Harry's style.
Yep.
I talked to one of your crew chiefs this morning. I said, I'm on the TV with Darrell, and he said, well, let me tell you something about him. We used to have a voice-activated mic in the car and said you would talk to that car all day. And I said, he'd talk to you a little bit when he got up beside of you every now and again, too.
Same language. Yep. Just expressed a little differently.
Ricky Craven following in the tire tracks of Johnny Benson there. And the 43 car, Robert Presley, driving the Coach's Muster car in relief of Rodney Combs, who's still out with injuries from Charlotte. Here's your Napa field standing update. Battle for second on back, or actually from the lead on back. There's Chad Little and Mike Walker, second and third.
Yeah, Uncle Mike is running good, but he doesn't seem to have the power it takes to just pass somebody. He really has to work hard to get around.
You know, Darrell, what's really amazed me about this race is you watch, especially in the pack, there is such a differential between the cars that are on the setup and the cars that are off. The speed differential is really amazing here.
It is, and see, if you come off the corner and have to lift out the throttle a little bit, you're going so fast it just really, really upsets the whole program. But the guy behind you just runs all over you.
Ricky Rudd, I was talking to him, and he called it launching it off the corner, and that's pretty much what you do here. This thing really gets forward by getting out of the corner.
Yeah. Derek Cope comes around that D-shaped front straightaway, hits about 8,400 RPM, and is hard on the brake. A little bit of lap traffic. No concern as they move past the limping Hermie Sadler.
There's 162 miles an hour there on the telemetry.
Wow.
That's in a six-cylinder.
About 8,100 down the straightaway. That's a ton of RPM every lap around this racetrack.
Well, you can just be in the gas so much here. You just burp the throttle and you're right back wide open. You see a lot of high RPM.
There are your leaders. Back to Harry Gant. Let's look at this second pack here. From Mike Wallace on back. Things are getting a little racy. Mike and Kenny Wallace, that's Joe Bessie and Johnson Industries 97 they're battling with, and Johnny Benson and Ricky Craven. Let's go to the Ricky Craven pit. Here's Randy.
Well, he's hanging in there, running 10th. Do we have another yellow? Look, everybody's looking towards turn 1 as Craven goes up through there. The bottom line is they think the engine's just a little bit off. Darrell alluded to that at the top of the show. They had to change engines this morning. They find some metal shavings in the motor compartment, so they changed motors. But he just said he ran a 24.05, and maybe we're going to have to take that back. The car's running pretty good right now, but it's possibly just a little off in the engine.
Well, you usually don't come to the last race of the year with a championship on the line and run your worst engine. No. So, you know, they changed. They had to do it, and they probably didn't want to.
What they do, these teams now run an oil filter made by a company called Oberg, and you just open it up like a sandwich. And you can look in there and see if there's any particles being distributed throughout the engine.
Oh, I think he just hit the wall in turn 3 up here, going into 3.
And caution is out.
Well, he hit it hard, too.
With that type of filter, you don't have to take the engine apart to see if you have trouble.
Look, it knocked the water jug completely out of the car. It's hanging off the door there. Now, that's a hard lick when you do that.
Yeah, when your right front tire meets your water jug outside the car, you'll hit very hard.
You see he's okay. He's moving around in the car.
Yep.
They're wanting to change tires, and he's just wanting to get his breath right now.
Please.
I'm going to want to change more in tires. Tough break for Roy Payne. Second accident. He was in that last one at lap 105, and he brings out the 9th caution of the day at turn 3.
Well, this race is living up to its billing. I mean, everybody, it's a great race. They're running fast, and the surface is making the cars handle good. A lot of accidents, championship at stake. I don't know, what else could you have? Weather is a factor. We got it all right here, folks.
Well, you have Chad Little in 2nd place. There's Ricky Craven in 11th. Point leader David Green is currently 12th. Getting down to the end of the season here. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by AC-Delco. It's like buying time.
Tomorrow afternoon here on TNN, Ricky Rudd and Terry Labonte will lead them down to the green flag for the AC-Delco 500, 12:30 Eastern Time here on TNN. Rudd, the new track record holder, 23.305 seconds, 157 miles an hour.
That's booking around a 1-mile racetrack.
Look from the steel chainsaw aerial platform. Makers of chainsaws and a full line of outdoor power equipment. Giving you these helicopter-mounted views of the rock.
You know, we're talking about Chad Little, and we're talking about Ricky Cravens, and we're talking about David Green. David Green's probably racing Ricky, or Ricky Craven. That's what I was trying to say. And he might ought to think about where Chad Little is, because if you think about '92 when Alan Kwiecki won the championship, Bill Elliott could have easily won it if he'd have led more laps.
That's right.
So you got to play the whole mix. You got to know all the formulas.
If Chad Little wins this race, David Green must finish 24th or better. There is Chad Little in the Harris Teeter Ford, number 23, running second to Mark Martin. Fighting from Derek Cope, looking ahead of Mike Waltrip, the 3rd place car. Guess what? Supermarket sweepstakes on it.
Boy, it is. A lot of groceries being handled up there.
You know, Chad Little's doing what he has to do to try to win the championship. He put himself in a position to really close in a lot of points here.
That's where they stand right now. There are 29 cars. Excuse me. There are 21 cars still in the lead lap.
Uncle Mike's car is handling good, but he doesn't have quite the straightaway speed those Fords have got. I don't know if that's the difference in the bodies or the motors or what, but he's a little slower down the straightaway than they are. It makes it difficult to pass.
Let's go to Chad Little's pit. Here's Glenn.
Well, Mike, this is Gary Cogswell, the crew chief. Gary, Chad told us before the race that the only thing you guys could do was go out and try to win the race, and it looks like you may have the car to do that.
Well, that's absolutely right. You know, our only chance to come out and win this championship is to come down here and win. We've got a real good car. This car has never hurt us. We've raced it 3 times in the past, finished very well with it. We got to go for it. It's our only chance. The car's strong. Chad hasn't had any comments about the chassis at all day long. All in all, the Harris Teeter Ford's running really well. We need to stop one more time for tires and gas and go for it.
You can tell he's not too excited. Let's see that car can overhaul that Winn-Dixie supermarket car.
Well, Chad's got a big problem right behind him right now. Mike Waltrip is really working that back bumper over, trying to get in second place.
Now, Mike's a little better through the turn, as I said, but Chad's a little quicker down the straightaway. Oh, Harry's worked himself right back up in the picture, too.
Chad Little's also looking for his first win of the year. He has a pair of runner-up finishes, Dover last year and Michigan this year.
You see Harry Gant going back into fourth place there, getting by Derek Cope. Like you said, Darrell, there's nobody that knows how to run this racetrack in Dover, Delaware any better than Harry Gant.
No, sir. The only thing that confuses Harry right now is he's down on the bottom, and he'd like to be right around the top, rim riding this sucker right up against that wall. Well, he's definitely chasing the lead down.
Yeah, Gant is closing in. There are 65 laps to go. Next time by.
Well, I tell you, these cars are sticking so tight. Look, left front actually went under the white line there. That's how good that car was getting side bite through the corner there of Harry Gant. He actually dropped the left front on the bottom part of the racetrack there.
Now Mark Martin's opening up a couple of car lengths on Chad Little.
Yeah, they may have called Mark and said, Harry's coming, Mark. You might want to step it up just a little bit there.
In the rookie battle, here's Johnny Benson. He's in 8th place. Dennis Setzer is back in 15th. Benson leads in the rookie points, but it is a panel that votes and determines the Rookie of the Year, a Penrose rookie winner.
You know, Darrell, we were talking a while ago about Ricky Craven. You see him right there in 3rd place in this shot right now. He was talking about actually making the car better by knocking a hole in the front of the car. Well, when they tear up the aerodynamics like he has there, what it does, it lets the air not pass over the car cleanly and push down on it, so it actually lifts the front end and puts weight on the rear, and if you have a loose problem, it will fix it.
Yeah, and also, buddy, that's exactly what it does. It slows you down a little bit on the straightaway, which means that your corner entry is a little slower, which makes the car feel better.
Have you ever bumped into anybody to make their car better or make your car better like that?
No, I didn't intentionally ever bump into someone to make their car better. I promise you.
So there's David Green. Look back at the point leader and would-be champion. Final race of the season, Stafford, Connecticut this fall. Dennis Doyle's leading the points in the Pro Stocks. He's got a fender hanging. Gary Membrino pulls up, knocks it off the car. Dennis goes on, wins the championship.
See, Mike?
Attaboy.
Attaboy.
That's Robert Presley leading that group right there. David Green has looked 2 or 3 times to get by him. He was all the way up the side of him down the front straightaway. He's being very, very careful right at the moment.
Well, he is. He's got Randy LaJoie right on his back bumper, and I know he'd like to get by Jimmy Hensley's actually in that car, I think, and move on up.
Randy LaJoie is out of this ride after today in the Pina Chevy of Vic Moroso.
Right now,
he's looking for next season.
Right now is when David Green wants everybody to be their buddy.
Yeah, that's it. Randy LaJoie makes the pass and moves on. Hasn't had a lot of good finishes this season, but he's been quite aggressive and trying to put that car to the front. Now here, Chad Little has been caught by Mike Waltrip at 2nd place.
Yeah, and right behind them is one of the best race car drivers in this country. I keep saying that about Harry Gant, but I kind of pull for him because this is the last time he's going to run a Busch car here at Rockingham, and that I kind of pulling for him right now. I'd like to see him win.
His last Busch start ever.
Yeah. The one thing about it, it won't be 90% effort. He'll give it everything it has.
Well, I'm pulling for Harry to win. If that's how you feel, buddy, I feel the same way. I'm also pulling for my buddy David Green to win this championship, and he's put himself in pretty good shape to do it.
See Mark Martin passing on the outside there. There is a second groove there. You just have to be very, very careful when you get up there.
Looking out the back of the lead car. As we take this pause from Rockingham, we are less than 60 laps away from deciding this championship. Welcome back to the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Mike Joy with Darrell Waltrip and Buddy Baker. Glenn Jarrett and Randy Pemberton on pit road. As we watch them wind off turn 4 and down the front straightaway, there's your race leader, Mark Martin. And you can see he stepped it out. There's the battle for second. Chad Little, who called in on the radio, said his car had tightened up a bit. back there out of the picture as Mike Waltrip works to hold off Harry Gant. There's Chad Little back now in 4th place.
Well, Harry was all over the back of Michael. I believe it's really upset Michael's car a little bit, but Mike's pulled out a little lead here on him, so maybe I'd give him a little breathing room.
Mark Martin has hit the checkout line.
Yeah, he gets in a mode. I've seen this picture before. When he gets himself in this kind of a situation, it's adios everybody else.
You know what, you said it all a while ago when you said one thing about Mark Martin. He always sets his car up a little bit tight. A lot of these drivers go out there and they're worried about how fast they can run by themselves out here. The big thing is Mark Martin knows to tighten that car up for it to be good on a long run.
Well, you got to go out with a half tank of fuel and worn out tires and see what kind of shape you're in. That's a smart way to set up.
Johnny Benson battling last week's winner, Kenny Wallace.
Boy, that's a pretty bulldog on that car.
Oh, don't start that again. Folks, if you missed last week's show, probably just as well. Randy?
Well, I talked with crew chief Steve Bird for Johnny Benson. Of course, Steve has won a championship in this series with Rob Moroso a few years back. I asked him if he could make that car any better. He's currently battling for 8th, but he has Dennis Setzer beat, who's back about 12th. Steve Bird said there's not a whole lot we can do with it right now. He's tight. We'll try to work on it on the very last stop, but they're just riding around right now.
Scoring shows Setzer in 14th position. Phil Parsons has made a green flag pit stop. We're going to put 4 tires on the Luxair number 99.
Are we going to see green flag stops? I wouldn't have thought that.
From what Chad Little told us, I think we may have to. Yeah. David Ift engineering things in the 99 pit.
So 2 tires and a lap down.
Boy, that down, when you watch a car come out of the pits here, it seems like forever before they really get back up to speed because of the speed that you have to run on the front straightaway. So that's the best thing I've ever done in racing. It makes all those guys so much safer down there working on these cars.
You think it seems like forever up here? You ought to be in it every day. Holy cow.
Now, speed limit from one end of pit road to the other. Been a lot of talk as to whether the speed limit ought to be lifted for green flag pit stops. So I guess if you're going to err, let's err on the side of caution. It's fair for everybody.
Yeah, it did be confusing to the driver too. He'd forget. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yep. Now there is Setzer running right behind Jim Bowen on the racetrack. Though Jim Bowen is a lap behind, Setzer now is shown by scoring in 16th position in the Alliance Training Center Chevy. He's had a fine rookie season, as has Johnny Benson.
Yeah, you can bet whoever wins that title as Rookie of the Year, he can sit at the podium up there and be very proud that he won the Rookie of the Year, because these 2 guys right here won races and they've been up front most everywhere they go.
Setzer has 2 wins on the season, and Benson has a victory at Dover.
Well, there's been a lot of debate about the championship, the point standings, the point system, and a guy that wins the most races, wins the most money, I just think he ought to be the champion. And I think that's kind of my opinion about the championship these days. We've taken emphasis off of winning races and put it on winning championships.
Well, but on the other hand, should the guy who gets the hole-in-one and the 2 double eagles and have the equal number of bogeys, should he win the tournament over the fellow who birdies every hole?
What would you rather watch?
Ask, Dan, answer.
Yes.
You're right.
I like it.
155 laps are complete. Mark Martin's the man out front. We'll be back live on TNN after this. Highway transportation provided by Cedar Ridge RV Center, Branchville, New Jersey, featuring Winnebago Motorhomes. Call 1-800-988-4884. Find out why Cedar Ridge is the choice of champions.
Yeah, old Mark, he's checked out on Uncle Mike and Harry back here. They're having a great race, but Mark's all alone by himself.
And Glenn Jarrett can give us an update on pit stop strategy on David Green, Chad Little, and Mark Martin.
Well, Mike, I did a little speculating if this thing stays green. The guys mentioned that they probably would have to make another stop. David Green's crew chief, Charlie Smith, said he wasn't really sure, so they could probably go all the way on gasoline. It just depended on the tires. Didn't know if they wanted to take that chance going all the way or not. Chad Little said that they were going to come in around lap 190. That's only a few laps from the end of the race. Not very far to go after that. As far as Mark Martin, the leader, they say that they're coming in around lap 170 for right side tires.
And Randy Pemberton can give us an update on Ricky Craven.
Well, these guys are doing as much smiling as they can possibly do with the bruised up right front. They have a Band-Aid they'd like to put over that right front of Craven's car if they get in here under caution. As far as stopping under green, they said the Fords will have to. They gave me a little wink. We will not. So they won't be in.
Let's have a look at, in that back of that pack, Dave Resendiz and David Green. It looks like Resendiz's car. Here's Craven battling Mike Wallace. And they passed Johnny Benson. Good battle going on there.
Yeah, Green is right here behind them, and I'd really like to see him back a little bit further. Those are great cars and great drivers right there in front of him, but he got plenty of room behind him, and he's following a guy that's smoking, and he's making me nervous.
Boy, Resendiz, he pulled over to the inside. I know Green's so happy because that car was smoking bad.
Yeah, I'm sure that the spotter ran over and said, "Will you tell that guy to let us by, please?"
And Dave Resendiz has come to pit road. 34 laps to go.
Well, you know, a guy that made an early stop, Phil Parson, I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how he ends up in the mix, because he's right behind Harry and Michael right now. And if they all got a stop, which some of them say they do and some of them say they don't, he could end up in the catbird seat.
Yeah, he did go a lap down because of the pit stop. Now the two rookie contenders are nose to tail. 74 is Johnny Benson as they work underneath Jim Bound, and right behind him is Dennis Setzer. Mike Wallace leads that pack in 8th place.
You know, Benson at one time was all the way up to about 3rd spot, and he's dropped back just a little bit. That means the car has probably went away a little bit as far as the handling on it. And Setzer's just been steady. He's been moving up and doing a real good job.
And let me correct, they're nose to tail on the racetrack, but the scoring has Setzer a lap down.
Yeah, he went a lap down early.
That's right.
So I don't remember why, but he did go a lap down early.
Mike Wallace and Johnny Benson. This is for 8th place.
Mike, this is going to get real interesting if it stays under green. Well, it's not going to, though.
Wall in turn 4, Doug Hevron. Smacked it pretty good. And caution is out. Ooh, he's in a tough spot up there in turn 4. Of course, all the spotters are on the radio, and everybody goes to the low side to miss the Food Country car of Doug Hevron out of Liverpool, New York. 10th caution of the day comes at lap 167.
Well, there goes all the strategy on pit stops and who did and who didn't and what's going to happen.
And the fellow who gets the tough break on that is Phil Parsons, who made his stop early and is a lap down.
Yep.
Hevron's okay. And everybody will be in.
The only plus to Phil's situation is he's got 2 tires under green, so he's going to have an extra set of tires over these guys that are pitting under caution. Could be a plus for him. Just something to keep your eye on.
Mark Martin and Mike Waltrip. They may keep pit road closed here. They're trying to get the safety crews out from the infield to assist Doug Hevron.
What a paint job. That looks like an eagle's face or something there with that big bill hanging down there on the front on that Winn-Dixie helmet. Mark Martin, you see him even wiggling the wheel. Just everything's doing good. They're coming
arm,
in the pits right
left
now.
arm laid up on the window. He's whistling a happy tune right now. Talking to his crew, telling him what he wants done.
And they are ready for him. Mike Waltrip's already stopped, and here's Mark Martin. Glenn?
Well, Mark Martin brings the Winn-Dixie Ford in. Mike, they're going to put 4 tires on it, and Steve Mill has already jumped out and put 1 round of bite in the car. It was just a little bit loose, filling it up with gasoline. Now let's go down to Randy.
Well, it's right side tires for Johnny Benson, and Steve Wren over here for the 2 car decides to put the Band-Aid on. They do so on the left front, changing right side tires, or the right front, changing right side tires. Take it out of the way. Great stop.
Well, that was a slick wallpaper job on the right front corner of Ricky Craven's car.
You see the wheel there on the outside. When you're coming down pit road and you're looking at the cars on the inside, it's easy to get into a wheel that's laying out there like that.
So we'll sort them out from pit stops when we come back. Doug Hevron's out of his car. He's okay, but we're under caution. We'll be right back.
Today's exclusive coverage of the AC-Delco 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa. We keep America running.
Doug Hebron's car has been hauled to the garage area. 171 laps are complete, make it 172. 25 to go in the Busch Grand National season, and we'll get a green flag here in 1 lap. There is everybody that's on the racetrack. The first 28 of those cars are running. Didn't get to talk much about Jimmy Hensley today. He started the Cincinnati Millicron number 35 car, the most recent retiree. So 28 are running. David Green's magic number, if Chad Little wins, is 24th or better. If Ricky Craven wins, 22nd or better would clinch the championship. And look where Craven is.
Yeah, Craven's got himself right up there in the 2nd place, and Chad Little's back in 9th. So I don't know. This thing ain't over yet.
Getting ready for the restart. Here's how they line up. Coming around from our steel area platform. Helicopter mounted shots. Steel outdoor equipment.
I feel like it's a critical point right here in the race for David Green. If he can survive this restart and get strung out a little bit here and get himself a little space to ride in, he's got it won. But this is going to be critical.
16 cars are on the lead lap, and all 3 point leaders are among them. We are back to green. Derek Cope has a look down on the inside of 3rd place Johnny Benson. Stevie Reeves is once again the race leader.
Whoa, a little contact there from Ricky Craven to Dotter getting in the corner there. Really got him sideways just for a second.
Bobby Dotter is 1 lap down in 15th. Mark Martin trying to work his way back up through after pit stops, as is Harry Gant.
And Uncle Mike is right there behind Harry, so Chad Little. Yeah, he got aggressive. The 82 car got aggressive on the restart and passed to the left, and I don't think he should have done that.
Neither did NASCAR. They black flagged him.
Oh, that's too bad. Derek Cope is running so well today, but they're going to bring him in. He's getting black flagged right now.
No, he didn't mean to. It just was one of those things.
Chad Little on the bottom of Johnny Benson there, trying to move up. Mark Martin and Harry Gant marching back toward the front as they move on Phil Parsons in the 99. From Mark Martin's car, rounding out down the back straightaway.
Well, that car, Mark Martin, you can see going in the corner here, he really catches him well. You can see Phil Parsons' car moving up just a little bit. He's actually going to get under him coming off that corner. That's a lot of power when you just drive by somebody.
Ricky Craven for the lead, takes it.
Yeah, Ricky's got the lead, and I'm going to tell you, Mark's going to have to step it up. We've only got 20 laps to go here.
David Green is 13th. Craven is leading.
If this thing stays under green and not another caution, Mark's going to have to gas it up to catch that 2 car.
Well, Darrell, there's 2 things there. He's way back. He's about 20 car lengths back, but he also, Mark has somebody that he's racing with right now, and they got clean air out there. Craven's going right on.
Yeah. Mark's got his rearview mirror very full of a real pretty green car right now.
Ricky Craven out in front.
Well, boy, you take now that little tape job. You know, he could not run up front just a second ago. They put that tape on the car, improved the aerodynamics on it, and he's out going away right now.
He's as sharp as they come when it comes to driving a race car and what to do.
All right, let's show you from Ricky Craven, the leader. Let's find David Green, the point leader, who is back at 13th position.
Well, there he is in a mist of close running quarters.
Well, I tell you, that's one thing you don't want to do is be running that close to a bunch of race cars that are racing for position themselves.
Just behind Robert Presley in the French's Mustard car.
Right now, old David is sitting there thinking, boy, just let this thing finish under green with no more problems for anybody.
Mark Martin and Harry Gant have passed Stevie Reeves. Mike Waltrip works underneath. Kicks Reeves back to 4th.
Stevie's done an outstanding job in a car that's got the back end all crunched up on it. He has led this race a couple of times and run pretty darn good.
Boy, Mark Martin is flying around this racetrack. He and Harry Gant and Mike Waltrip are really catching Ricky Craven. I think he'll have time.
Well, they're going to catch. It looks like they're going to catch him. They got through that traffic pretty good, but Harry's right there on Mark's back bumper.
1.3 seconds is Ricky Craven's lead. Here is Craven. Here's second place. Mark's left Harry Gant.
Yep. Doesn't take long, does it? 1 lap and you can put 15 cars between you and the guy running third.
Ricky Craven doing everything he can to win this championship. Got his car up front and out front. Great pit stop.
Yep. He's run some great races this year. He's won a couple, and actually I think he's won 3, and he's had a great year.
He'll move up to Winston Cup next year.
He finished second in this thing last year, didn't he? Did he finish second in the points last year? I think he did.
Yeah, he said he really wanted to win this championship, you know, and leave on a good note, but he really should be proud of everything he's done. He put this team together, and they've been up front all year long. I'm really proud of him. He'll have a good run in Winston Cup, too. He's that type of race car driver that can make that move.
Boy, look at Green. This right here is his worst nightmare.
Well, it is, with all this heavy traffic right in front of David Green in that Slim Jim car. But on the other hand, his mind's fully occupied. He doesn't have to worry about what might happen to his car because he's real busy.
Yeah, he is. He's got a lot of company. And he's in there with some guys that race really, really hard.
Randy LaJoy just behind him. Robert Presley just in front in the 43 car.
And we have seen those guys race really hard. I mean, to the point where sometimes things happen. Well, Mark might catch Ricky, but I don't know if anybody else will catch him up.
David Green's crew.
You'd think with about 10 laps to go here, the guys will be having a little bit happier look on their face, but they know the same thing we know. He's in the midst of some trouble right now.
12 laps to go.
Here we go.
Up goes Stevie Reeves.
Wow, Johnny Benson just gets by.
Caution.
And that happened, folks, just a few car lengths in front of the leader, or in front of the point leader. He had to back it down.
Reeves was battling, I think, Chad Little at that point.
Ooh, Mike's going to beat Harry back to the line. That's not going to...
Yep. 10 to go. 10 laps left in the Busch Grand National season. And we're told from replay there was contact. Not Chad Little, apparently. I'm not sure of the car that got into Stevie Reeves before he had this trip to the wall.
Well, when they came off turn 2 over here, Chad was right up under the back end of the 96 car. And his back end's torn up, so he could have taken some air off his blade there, spoiler.
You could really see how much side bite these cars get. When you watched the 74 car, when he went right there, he actually turned it up on the left side.
We'll come back to settle this here at Rockingham and end the season next. Okay. 1 lap to go. Let's stay here. We don't want you to miss any of these last few laps of action, so hold that commercial break.
Yeah, that's probably the best decision that's been made all day. Let's stay here and see what happens. We got the race at stake. We got the championship at stake.
You bet.
Let's watch it.
Ricky Craven is the leader. Mark Martin is in second. Mike Waltrip is third. Harry Gant is fourth, and Chad Little now fifth.
There's a hidden problem on the outside there. That's Derek Cope trying to get back in the lead lap there, and that's going to come into play between these guys trying to see who's going to win.
Here's what happened.
From Derek Cope's car.
It looks like he just lost it going into 3.
Yeah, Phil Parsons did not hit him. I thought when I first looked at it that Phil might have tagged him, but there was no contact. He just lost it going into turn 1.
Another very significant development there was that Michael beat Harry back to the line. They raced back to the line,
yes.
and he got in front of Harry, and so Michael's up into third place, actually, with a shot at, getting by Mark and Ricky.
Single file restart. With the lead lap cars in front and the lap cars lining up behind.
Well, I see that tape. I see the tape on the front of Craven's car starting to flap a little bit. If that blows away, that's really going to hurt him down straightaway.
Mark Martin sets him up. Turn 3. Craven racing for the championship. And David Green in 12th place.
Well, you see him taking that evasive line down the front straightaway, not giving that inside groove to Mark Martin. Now, Mark is the best at setting somebody up, so he'll make a couple of runs on the outside to get his attention there. Maybe I might can pass you on the outside.
And I'll tell you something else about Mark Martin. He is such a gentleman that he's not going to do anything to rough up Ricky Craven. Also, Mark is well aware of the point situation. So he knows that Ricky's got a shot at the championship. He doesn't know where David Green is. He's going to be overly cautious.
Dennis Setzer, black flag, jumping on the restart.
It don't look like Mike can quite close the gap there, but I do believe that Mark Martin's got as fast a car as anybody out there. He's trying to make a move. You see him coming down just a little bit away from the groove there to take that inside line away from him.
Well, my hat's off to Ricky Craven. I never would have thought that he could hold off Mark this long, and now I'm thinking he can win the race. He's doing a great job.
Well, and two, now take this and translate it to Sunday. You don't want to mess up the guys that are racing for this championship. Mark wants to win this race for his team, for his sponsor. Ricky Craven wants to try to win this title and the race and all that goes with it.
Well, I can tell you this. Oh, here we go. Craven got a little high. Mike got under him, too.
Well, Ricky was just having to drive the wheels off his car to stay in front of Mark, and he just carried it in there a little bit too hard, and it got by him.
And it's official. With 4 laps to go, David Green has clinched the Busch Grand National Championship.
Yeah, he's just riding her to the finish.
He could, at 4 laps to go, finish no worse than 22nd. He is the champion.
Well, that's exciting for him. I'm so pleased for him and that whole team. That's a great young driver and certainly a great bunch of people that own that car.
As of the last restart, regardless of whether Ricky Craven was leading or not, with 4 to go, David Green, here's your champion car owner for 1994, Bobby Labonte, as there are 2 to go.
My hat's off to Ricky, too, because I'm telling you, that guy, he came from way back with a car problem, and he led this thing here at the end, doing all he could do to try to win the championship.
Well, let's talk about those 2 guys that are fighting it out for this win right now. Congratulations to Green, but right here, Mike Waltrip has actually closed ground on the 60 car right near the end here, and you know Michael Waltrip wants to win this race. White flag.
Yep. The gloves are off now, boys. Them 2 guys are racing.
Craven in 3rd, Gant in 4th, Chad Little in 5th. Last chance for Mike Waltrip.
Take her on down in there, Mikey, one more time. He's got her. He's gassing her up. He's got her on the white line. He's down there. He's trying him on the inside, but he ain't going to make it.
Mark Martin scores the victory. Here in the AC-Delco 200 for the Winn-Dixie Ford. It's his 3rd win of the year. And in the last 4 races, his last 4 races, Mark has finished no worse than 2nd.
Yeah, that's an amazing race car. It runs flawlessly and it handles great, and he drives the wheels off of it.
Martin, your winner. Mike Waltrip in 2nd, Ricky Craven, Harry Gant, Chad Little. We'll be right back to talk with them. Not the relief driver for Dale Earnhardt there.
I think that's Uncle Mike.
It could be. Let's go to Victory Lane and meet the winner. Here's Randy Pemberton.
Mark Martin has climbed from his Winn-Dixie Ford. Nice smile on your face. Great run for you today in the Winn-Dixie Ford. Another victory. That's the 3rd this year.
It was a close race, really. Craven and those guys made a smooth move by taking 2 tires. It was really probably the best thing to do, as it turned out. He just slipped a little bit. We kept the pressure on, and he slipped, and Michael ran real good for a while. This Winn-Dixie Thunderbird out-handled them in the long run, but for a while they could really ride me. And, you know, I wasn't comfortable with 30 to go that it was going to be an easy win, because not only did we have to beat those guys that took 2 tires, but the guys behind us had 4 and we had 4, and that wasn't good for me because that meant that they could run as good as we could. So we had to watch the back door and watch the front door and just do it, you know.
Early on in the race, Mark, you didn't seem to be running all that well. Were you being cautious back then?
I go as fast as I could go every inch of that race. We just barely had enough today to win.
How good's the racetrack? Look forward to tomorrow.
The racetrack is not got a good outside groove at all, and it's not going to be a lot of fun tomorrow.
Okay, that's Mark Martin.
Thanks, Randy. Darrell, do you agree there's not much outside there yet on that new pavement?
Well, I'll know here in just a few minutes. I'm going to go out there and check it out for myself. But, Mark, I love his interviews. God, the first thing he says is it was going to be an easy win, and then he drove as hard as he could every inch of the way. I might have to go check him out. But he did a great job, and my hat's off to David Green and Bobby Labonte and Bob Labonte, the whole Labonte family. Owensboro, Kentucky ought to be proud. Got him another champ. Looks good.
Well, that makes 3 champions out of Owensboro, Darrell and Mike Waltrip, and now David Green. Darrell, thanks for being with us. We'll see you tomorrow, and folks, we'll be right back to meet the Busch Series champion. Featherlight, the official trailer of NASCAR. For more information, call 1-800-800-1230. TNN's been proud to bring you more than half of this Busch Grand National season, more races than all other networks combined, and they've been great ones, and they lead to the crowning of a man I know will be a great champion. Let's meet him with Glenn Jarrett.
Well, Mike, we just got a champagne shower here. David Green, I know, first of all, congratulations, but had a few problems that we weren't aware of. I know that had to be the longest 200 miles of your life.
Yeah, it was. Yesterday afternoon, you know, we put in a new motor for the race. Yesterday morning, Carl Wagner's done a heck of a job on motors, and I went out there and I said, man, this thing just won't run. Couldn't find out we had a brake problem. The brakes were actually locking up on the car, so put a new master cylinder on it. We never had any kind of problem, and man, the star of the race, it happened again, and the brakes were actually on the whole race, and I did everything but try to wear the pads out under caution and try to get some free play, but never was there. But man, that motor held together and still pulled it, even though it had the brakes on. But
well, a problem like that, though, all those caution flags, man, that's the last thing in the world you wanted to see.
Well, that's true. It seemed like after we got going, the other guys would slow up. We could run the same pace. Our car handled perfect, but you know, I can't say enough. I know I'm going to be able to think of more things later on, but the Slim Jim team 2 years ago, Bobby Labonte called me when I didn't have a ride. He said, come along, you fill this seat, and I want to see my race car out on that track with David Green driving. And, you know, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here today. And I'm just happy for him and Donna and all those, the Labonte family, for having a championship, not just for Bobby driving a car.
Well, he's filled that seat very ably. He is the 1994 Busch Grand National Champion. And, hey, man, here, have a Slim Jim. Let's eat one. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Glenn. Here, AC-Delco presents the unofficial final Busch Series point standings. David Green captures the championship by 46 points over Ricky Craven. Chad Little comes home. Ian third. We'll have to update one of those numbers for you. Then Kenny Wallace will be fourth in the point standings. Hermie Sadler hung on to fifth. Johnny Benson moved past Bobby Daughter on this final day of the season, and Larry Pearson, so Benson ends up sixth. But from 11th on back, as the top 20, I believe, do pay off at the Busch Series banquet this winter. Mark Martin, with his partial schedule, 2 wins and 2 seconds, picked up 20th place in the final points.